Good morning, everyone. Happy Friday. This is Mitchell here on my YouTube channel. It's good to see you guys again. This is NFL Picks. We are already in Week 13. I would really appreciate if you guys hit the like button and subscribe. If you are willing and interested to subscribe to my channel, that would be wonderful. And thanks for tuning in yet again. Our first matchup, I'm going to do it based on spreads again. I really like doing it based on spreads because it makes it really interesting when the games become close, especially in the NFL, with it being such a unpredictable league at times, So our first game will be Detroit versus Chicago. The Bears are favored by 3. I'm gonna take the Bears because they are. I think they're obviously definitely due for a big win, especially in Chicago to stay alive for the wild card race. So I'm gonna take them to beat Detroit by more than 3 for sure. We have Cincinnati Bengals, who are Joe Burrow-less he's out for the year, versus Miami, and they're continuing to start Tua over Ryan Fitzpatrick. So I think Cincinnati is going to cover the spread because I think 11.5 is too much for how much the Dolphins have been struggling lately, and I'm going to take the Dolphins, but Cincinnati will cover that spread there. Indianapolis versus Houston. I'm going to take Indianapolis. They're continuing besides last week when Derrick Henry ran all over them. I think they're continuing to play tremendous football, and they're going to have enough to beat a Texans team who's trying to get a few wins to end the season, but not enough to beat one of their division opponents, Indianapolis. Next, we have Jacksonville and Minnesota. I do have Minnesota in my point differential pool. How it works is each time the team gets the most points, you move up in the ranking, especially that you have to pick who you think is going to win by the most points. And I think Minnesota is going to win by far more than 10 because Jacksonville has been struggling lately. Their last closest game was against Green Bay, I believe, and if they had one after Green Bay, it was only one close game, and I think Minnesota's gonna be very, very, very good to have them come close. And they had a huge game-ending victory last week against Carolina, so I think they have enough momentum to pull that one out. So Vikings over 10, I'll take them for the spread. Next, we have the Raiders versus the Jets. I'm gonna take the Raiders, but I think the Jets will cover it because they're truly desperate to have their first win of the season. And the first wins of the season for most teams, like when Cleveland was pretty bad and they beat the past San Diego Chargers. It happened on Christmas Eve 4 years ago. That was the year before they moved to Los Angeles area in general. And I think the Jets do have the best chance at beating the Raiders, who have been very much struggling lately, but the Raiders will still win it, but honestly, it's going to make it really, really interesting, the spread there. Next, we had New Orleans against Atlanta, who had a big upset win over the Raiders. Atlanta did, but I think New Orleans, even without Drew Brees, Taysom Hill's been on fire lately. I think they're gonna have enough to beat Atlanta in a very big modern day NFL rivalry there. I think that's going to be honestly a really fun one to watch. I think it's probably going to be like the second biggest Fox game of the week. So I think that will be a good one to tune into. Next, we have the red hot Cleveland Browns against Tennessee. I think Cleveland's going to take the spread because this is one of their most phenomenal seasons in a very long time. They're 8-3, and Tennessee continues to be rolling. But I think this is going to be very, very close, and Cleveland's going to cover the spread, but I have Tennessee winning by a field goal here. Next, we have the Giants versus the Seahawks. I'm going to have the Seahawks. Seahawks cover this one. It was at 7.5, but now it's at 7.5 because the Eagles did keep with it against Seattle last week, but not enough to cover it. And I don't think the Giants will have enough for it too. So I think the Eagles will win by over 7. Don't know about 10, but over 7 for sure. Next, we have Los Angeles against Arizona, who's playing very well lately. This is a very big matchup of two NFC West opponents, and Los Angeles, they had a really big win against Tampa Bay to really show themselves well, and that brings them to the 3 seed, right behind the Green Bay Packers. I was looking up the playoff picture as it was to be today with my boss yesterday, and it really showed that it's going to come down to a few more games depending on how the teams, especially in the NFC, do. And Arizona is going to very, very much try to come in the game and have a big win. But Los Angeles, I think, is a little more gifted. Arizona had that miraculous victory a few weeks ago with the Larry Fitzgerald play, but Los Angeles is definitely playing as good as they did during their Super Bowl season. Until that game, they fell short, but they're going to have enough power to win that game and definitely have a big win to maintain the number 2 seed. But I hope, as a Packers fan, the Cardinals win it, because if the Packers win and the Cardinals do fall to slight upset against the Rams, we're going to be at a 2 seed with a win. Next, we have the Packers against the Eagles. I think the Eagles could keep it close, but the Packers will definitely take the spread because of how well they're playing, and they're phenomenal at home. Rodgers and Adams have been one of the most dynamic quarterback receiver duos in the entire NFL this year. Them two alone in fantasy must skyrocket in stats that have both Rodgers and Adams for the owners that do. Very much applause to them for sure. The latest odds were 8.5, but it changed to 7 just in case if the game got close for the Packer game. Next is a pick 'em between New England and Los Angeles. I'm gonna take Los Angeles with Tyrod Taylor with Justin Herbert to continue playing really, really, really well, and I think they're gonna have enough, especially at their home stadium, to beat New England. But this is gonna be a very, very good game. I think it'll be a very fun one to keep following during the Packer game, because it's taking place during the Packer game. Next, we have Kansas City. I think they're going to absolutely blow out Denver, who was without 3 quarterbacks last week. It came down where they had to start a wide receiver who's really never played a quarterback before. And Kansas City is going to be absolutely too much for them to be at Arrowhead, and Mahomes is playing as good as ever. Him and Rodgers are in the MVP chase right now, and they're going to win by far more than 14. Next, we have the Washington football team versus Pittsburgh. I don't know what channel it's on, but it got moved because the Ravens-Steelers game got changed from Thanksgiving 3 times to Wednesday, and it was a very good defensive game, and Pittsburgh still pulled it out to continue their perfect season, and they're going to have enough to cover this 9.5 spread. I think they're going to win by at least 15, and even if Washington keeps in it for a quarter, they're going to have enough to. They're going to have enough to definitely cover the spread on that one. So Pittsburgh will continue their undefeated season there. Next, we have Buffalo and San Francisco. This is going to be a great Monday night game. That's the team I'm relating to, who lost to the Cardinals. 2 really good modern type of franchises that continue to dominate. They're both probably going to make the playoffs this year. San Francisco is very due for a win, especially at home. They've very much been struggling in general. They've been really banged up with injuries. George Kittle's out for the year, which he was a very good duo with Jimmy G and Buffalo. Josh Allen's looking as good as ever right now, even with the Arizona loss. They're gonna maybe have enough, but San Francisco, I'm gonna go with a slight upset here and pick the 49ers, because this is really their time to get wins to stay in the wild card hunt, because they had to fight with Los Angeles and Seattle to even get a chance, which I don't think it's gonna happen, but they're going to be very, very due for an interconference win here. And lastly, we have Dallas and Baltimore. It's off the spread board, so I can't even say it's going to be a spread. So we'll take the Ravens, who almost beat the undefeated Steelers last Wednesday, to blow out Dallas. I think they're going to win by 10 in case if Dallas keeps it close. So Baltimore by 10. Hope you all enjoyed this video. I was busy this week, and I'm glad on my day off that I got to cover it for you guys. And we'll see you on my next video.